Ladies and gentlemen of the Grindhouse, I find myself coming out here tonight a very different man than what you're used to. Much busier than ever before. It's no secret that heading into Holy Grail 3, I've had more than my fair share of roadblocks set in my path. On the one hand, I have quite the formidable opponent in BGW, but we'll get to that. On the other hand, there is the pressing matter going on with the final chapter. Right now, there seems to be a line drawn between my family. And needless to say, it's got my attention. But rest assured, the final chapter is fine. And we will deal with this issue like we have with everything else. We will overcome adversity and rise above it together. Now, on to the matter of my opponent for Holy Grail 3, BGW. You see, Brandon, we all sat back and heard what you had to say last week. Pretty compelling stuff, I'm not going to lie. And there's a lot of truth in what you said. You talked about my reign. But you emphasize that I'm not immortal, I'm not unbeatable, and that I'm just a man. Well, Brandon, I agree with you. I'm not unbeatable. I'm not immortal. And I am indeed just a man. But let's think about that for a second. A man, a mere mortal man, was able to win this title, and not only hold it, but successfully defend it for over 500 days. A man alone did all that. A man alone. Pay attention to that phrase, Brandon. Because week after week, you keep harping on keeping it pure. Keep our match pure. It's almost like it's your catchphrase. Look at every one of my defenses, Brandon. I've kept this title all on my own ever since I've had the pleasure of calling myself Undisputed. Never had an interference. Never used my guys to get or keep this title. Yet you're so concerned. Some might even call it terrified of me using my numbers game against you. I've kept everything about this title pure, Brandon, whether you realize that or not. I even came out here last week to save your ass from getting jumped, because let's face it, you don't have a lot of friends around here. Who knows? Maybe you have some trust issues from your Pantheon days. Maybe ever since you decided to turn your back on these people when you formed that damn group, you've been haunted by your past. Those bad decisions looming over you. Well, let me put your mind at ease. If last week wasn't any indication of what I'm all about, this is about my moral code, Brandon. I have a great deal of honor and respect when it comes to this championship. Not just because I have it, but because of what it represents. So trust me when I tell you, the last thing I want to do is sully the lineage of this title by tipping the odds in my favor. Last week I extended my hand out to you to show you I want this match kept fair. You slapped that away. As far as I see it, Brandon, the ball is in your court now. And according to your word, If I have to kill you at Holy Grail 3 to keep my title, rest assured it'll be me, and only me, that's pulling the trigger. Brandon, I look forward to our next encounter, and I will see you and the Grindhouse next week. Now that, folks, is just too sweet.
Well. I mean, Seth's doing it all. Trying to keep his house clean. Tell BGW what it is.